first ever time when I fought in January, the earliest I've ever fought. It's going to ruin my Christmas dinner and my birthday because I'm 31 like 3 weeks before it. But it's all going to be worth it when I lift that real title above my head and Paddy the Baddy is a world champion. And 2026 is going to be the biggest year of my life. I am coming for that interim title. Then I'll be making it the undisputed title when I come and beat Ilia Topuria up and take the undisputed title. And then little posh boy, if he manages to fight in that time, because he likes sitting out and saying he's got a sore back, if little posh boy fights in that time and keeps his ranking, I'll punch his head in as well.
All right, let's get into it. So, obviously you just saw Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim title. Earlier, Topuria posted, I'm dealing with some personal problems, so I'm not gonna fight the first quarter. So the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy will be the interim title, and then they will face Topuria.
Oh, an interim champion basically means the #1 contender. But if Paddy can pull it off, unbelievable. That'll be 4 champs, 2 interims and 2 legit, well 3 legit now with Tom being promoted from the UK that have become champions. And for Justin Gaethje, this is the final go. This is the final crack of the whip. The man's had 2 title fights in the past, Charles Oliveira to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and now he gets to go up against Paddy Pimblett. Now, talking about the matchup, of course, it is an easier fight for Justin than what it is against Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest of all time. Islam Makhachev, the current pound for pound, and according to many people, a man that is surpassing Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? So in that regard, it is an easier matchup. Will Paddy be able to take him down? Will he dance around the octagon? Yes, he will. Will he try and replicate the game plan of Max Holloway? Of course he will. Who wouldn't try and do that? You aren't going to stand and go toe-to-toe with Justin Gaethje because the man does have knock.
After Dana White made the fight official, everything quickly fell into place. Paddy Pimblett wasted no time and jumped straight into camp for Justin Gaethje. No delays. No complaints, just pure dedication. Day after day, he's grinding in the gym, refining his striking, blending in his grappling, and preparing for the toughest test of his career. Fans are already excited, eager to see how Paddy handles the matchup and what kind of performance he delivers against one of the division's most dangerous contenders.
That's a good chance for Paddy to win, but with real risks about his defensive striking along the way. Yeah. And really, obviously, as we all could understand, a last hurrah, certainly, for Justin Gaethje.
Dana White kept things straightforward when discussing Paddy and Justin. He explained that with Ilia Topuria sidelined in the first quarter due to personal reasons, the Ultimate Fighting Championship needed someone to step in and keep the division active. That's why Paddy and Justin were booked to fight. For the interim title, he made it clear the winner will face Ilia afterward. This matchup isn't just about pride, it determines who secures the next major title opportunity.
Obviously, you just saw Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim title. Earlier, Topuria posted, I'm dealing with some personal problems, so I'm not gonna fight the first quarter. So the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy will be the interim title, and then they will face.
Michael Bisping gave his take on Paddy versus Justin, and the first thing he highlighted was the threat standing in front of Paddy. He said, Justin may be older now, but he still punches extremely hard and keeps a relentless pace. He broke down Justin's power, his brutal leg kicks, his forward pressure, and how difficult he is for any lightweight to handle. He reminded fans that Justin only looked vulnerable in the Max Holloway fight because he was caught clean, which isn't typical of him. According to Bisping, Justin is the type of fighter who marches you down, throws heavy shots, and drags you into a war.
But this is a very, very tough competitive matchup. Now, Justin Gaethje is no spring chicken. I think he's 36 years old. But you know what you're going to get with Justin Gaethje. Yes, of course, against Max Holloway at UFC 300, he got knocked out. He got embarrassed. He got face planted. I'll tell you what, it was a shocking scene, okay? But that's not normally what happens with Justin Gaethje. He is one of the most exciting fighters. They do call him the human highlight reel for a reason. He's got great wrestling, but the boxing, the striking, the leg kicks, the punch power that he has, I'm telling you.
Then Michael Bisping explained why Paddy has a legitimate opportunity in this matchup. He said, Paddy looked like a completely different fighter in the Chandler bout and showed he can handle pressure and high-stakes moments. According to him, Paddy's movement is sharper, his striking is cleaner, and his confidence is at its peak. Bisping added that Paddy won't stay stationary for Justin, expecting him to stay mobile, use his speed, mix and takedowns, and force Justin to chase. He also noted that Paddy is already in excellent condition, which gives him a strong advantage. Heading into a fight like this, Bisping emphasized that people doubt Paddy too quickly, and Justin can't depend solely on power because Paddy has proven he can adapt.
And neither is Paddy Pimblett, right? We saw last time against Michael Chandler, he is the real deal. He absolutely smoked him. He's undefeated in the UFC. He put a beating on Michael Chandler. And let's remember, Chandler went toe-to-toe with Gaethje, gave Dustin Poirier a good run, knocked out Dan Hooker. So it's not like he's a bum. Yes, he hasn't been winning fights. We all know that. But Paddy made it look different. He beat the living hell out of him. Simple as that. And I knew he had something coming up because last week when I saw him in Qatar, the man was playing paddle, right? Like a paddle bro. He had his shirt off in the sun. He was glistening. He had the six-pack. He looked great. We all call him Paddy the fatty, right? Well, he isn't fat right now. The man looked to be in the best shape of his life.
He said everyone understands that an interim champion is essentially the #1 contender. But if Paddy Pimblett wins this, it would be massive for the UK, for Justin Gaethje. It feels like one final major opportunity after already competing into title fights. On paper, this matchup may seem more favorable than facing opponents like Khabib Nurmagomedov or Islam Makhachev, but Paddy won't simply stand and trade, he'll stay mobile, mix his attacks, and look to neutralize that power. Even so, Justin cannot afford to take him lightly.
Basically means the #1 contender. But if Paddy can pull it off, unbelievable. That'll be 4 champs, 2 interims and 2 legit, well 3 legit now with Tom being promoted from the UK that have become champions. And for Justin Gaethje, this is the final go. This is the final crack of the whip. The man's had 2 title fights in the past, Charles Oliveira to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and now he gets to go up against Paddy Pimblett. Now talking about the matchup, of course it is an easier fight for Justin than what it is against Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest of all time. Islam Makhachev, the current pound for pound, and according to many people, a man that is surpassing Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? So in that regard, it is an easier matchup. Will Paddy be able to take him down? Will he dance around the octagon? Yes, he will. Will he try and replicate the game plan of Max Holloway? Of course he will. Who wouldn't try and do that? You aren't going to stand and go toe-to-toe with Justin Gaethje because the man does have knockout power. But
Luke Thomas broke down the fight and described it as a clear striker versus grappler matchup. He said Justin Gaethje is the sharper puncher with serious power and pointed out that Paddy Pimblett tends to keep his chin high, making him easier to catch. According to Luke, Justin doesn't need many openings. One clean shot could put Paddy in serious trouble quickly. However, he also noted that Paddy brings something Justin has struggled with before: back takes. If Paddy slips behind Justin's elbows or secures a tight body lock, he can bring the fight to the ground and take his back. And once Paddy gets there, Luke said he's extremely difficult to shake off.
So let's talk about the fight itself. It's a great question. There's just no doubt in my mind, a bit of a striker versus grappler. Paddy can strike for sure, but he leaves his chin in the air. It's a real tough test for Paddy, but the problem is, we all know Gaethje has just, of course, he's got good defensive wrestling, but as you saw with Khabib, if you just force him to his hands, or there's different ways for him to get to his back, once you do that, it's, you know, it's a problem. He seems like a fish out of water at this point. So Paddy, who is a back specialist, both in obtaining it and then maintaining position, that's very advantageous. At the same time, you know, he's got a little bit of that going on, and I think a guy like Gaethje can still send his chin into orbit. So very much a striker versus grappler, but it just feels like Paddy is big for the weight class, and all he really has to do is clinch and then get behind the elbows. And
he said the odds could be very close. Paddy Pimblett is large for the weight class and only needs a strong clinch to take Justin down. But at the same time, Justin Gaethje can land a single clean shot and instantly shift the fight. Luke added that this feels like Justin's last major run and Paddy's big opportunity to prove he belongs at the top. He called it a true test for both fighters.
Do his level change, not get it, and then just sort of come up and get behind one of the elbows. You're in on the body lock, and now it's a problem, because then he could just force him. He can either Soto hook, trip him out, force him to his hands. So I would imagine Paddy might be, it's going to be close, I think, in the odds. I don't want to say what the odds would be, because that's really not my forte in any kind of way. But I would imagine that the odds are probably going to be kind of close. I would think that that's a good chance for Paddy to win. but with real risks about his defensive striking along the way. Yeah. And really, obviously, as we all can understand, a last hurrah, certainly, for Justin Gaethje.
Dan Thomas believes Justin Gaethje holds a significant advantage over Paddy Pimblett. He says Justin remains extremely dangerous and difficult to manage once he gets going. Paddy is clever and tricky inside the cage, but Justin's power and aggression can eventually catch anyone. Thomas thinks Paddy may struggle to avoid Justin's heavy strikes since taking him down won't be easy across 5 rounds. Thomas feels Justin's ability to stay violent and maintain pressure will force mistakes from Paddy, making victory difficult for him.
Sure.
Yeah?
I think absolutely. I mean, just, Gaethje he's still a banger, man. And it's some like Paddy's crafty. Paddy's really crafty. And he's shown that he can withstand certain things and he can hang around with certain guys. But I just think, when Justin Gaethje gets rolling downhill and the amount of violence and he's able to catch up to people, like you can try to be crafty as you possibly can with Justin Gaethje, but eventually he's going to catch up.
He also noted that while Paddy Pimblett has shown he can hang with tough opponents, he lacks the experience and skill to match Justin Gaethje when the fight intensifies. Justin can control bouts with his pace and power, which will likely pose a major challenge for Paddy, even as Justin ages. Thomas believes he remains highly effective and can handle Paddy without much difficulty. He added that this fight could actually be Paddy's best opportunity at a UFC title, as Justin is in the latter stage of his career and aiming to secure his legacy with another belt. Thomas emphasized that the matchup is unique because it gives Paddy a real chance, even though Justin remains the favorite.
Max Holloway he was obviously doing very well, but then when he sat down on his punches, I mean, we saw what happened. So I'm not sure that Paddy Pimblett has the ability to do that, and I'm pretty sure Paddy Pimblett can't take Gaethje down. So I'm leaning towards Gaethje, in fact, pretty heavily actually.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it too much, but over 5 rounds, it is an interesting fight. I mean, we'll see if Paddy can get Gaethje, or he can get on top of him. We saw how violent he was against Michael Chandler, so that would be interesting. But yeah, the task is getting Justin to his back first, because he's not easy to take down either.
No, and we've seen him. He's moving. Justin Gaethje's moving better, but when he wants to really sit down and be violent, he can. And I think that's going to present problems for Paddy. It's going to force Paddy to make some mistakes, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to take the amount of punishment.
MMA Guru believes Paddy Pimblett has a real shot at beating Justin Gaethje. He says Paddy is smart with distance, maintaining range and avoiding situations where Justin can land his big shots. Paddy throws high-volume combinations like 1-2s and jumping knees, while mixing in dynamic moves that could give him an advantage. MMA Guru also notes that Justin has faced many tough fights and is aging, whereas Paddy is entering his prime and in excellent condition for this matchup.
He keeps at very good range, keeps his distance a lot. Doesn't get caught up in the pocket too much, throws in volume when he does throw a lot of the time with his 1-2, 1-2, and then a jump knee, and a lot of dynamic things that can get the better of Gaethje. Plus, he's going to mix in the takedowns. And Gaethje's getting up there in his career. He's just going through more and more wars, more and more scraps, a ton of time off. Pimblett coming into his prime, has been in shape for a while for this.
He believes Paddy Pimblett can mix striking and grappling effectively. MMA Guru thinks Paddy might even submit Justin Gaethje because he has strong back control and can maintain positions where submissions are possible. He compares it to what Charles Oliveira did by keeping opponents in control positions and says Paddy has the skills to hold Justin down and capitalize on mistakes. MMA Guru feels this could allow Paddy to win either by submission or ground and pound, especially in the second round.
And I do think Pimblett will win. I think Pimblett will probably sub him as well. I think he'll mix it up. Takedowns, striking, something Fiziev did, but doesn't have the jiu-jitsu to keep a hold of Gaethje with. And Fiziev kept Gaethje down in like an inverted triangle position for like the majority of round 1. I know Gaethje's somewhat decent at scrambling, but it turns out Chandler has no ability to control in any way whatsoever without throwing himself off the top of someone and ending up on bottom, or messing it up completely and using a ton of energy for no success. So I think Pimblett's got that back-taking ability. Pimblett's got that control, that stick to you, that get you in a submission position type jiu-jitsu, which is obviously any type of jiu-jitsu. But you know what I mean? He's got that level that I think is going to be able to keep Gaethje down with his back taken for a while in this fight. So I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett here. I'm going to say Pimblett wins this fight by a TKO to ground and pound in the second round or a submission win in the second round. And we'll see what happens, because after that, he's...
So, that's what the experts are saying about athlete Justin Gaethje, American Mile fighter versus Paddy Pimblett. Some believe Justin's power, experience, and relentless aggression will be too much for Paddy, while others think Paddy's skill, movement, and timing give him a real chance to win. It's a matchup where anything can happen, with both fighters bringing excitement to the cage. Paddy has already started his training camp, and experts say he was ready even before the fight was officially announced. He's focused, in excellent shape, and clearly treating this as a major opportunity. That preparation could be crucial against someone as tough and dangerous as Justin. The fight promises to be fast-paced, action-packed, and could even end in a finish. Now it's your turn. Who do you think will come out on top? Are you backing Justin's experience and power or Paddy's skill and strategy?